Today we're going to look through one of my collage sketchbooks. Strap yourselves in, it's going to be a ride. I'm Tori Chatfield and this is a sketchbook tour.
Nobody knows me.
Hello and welcome back to a kooky corner of YouTube. I'm going to be taking you through one of my completed collage journals. The teeny weeny tiny whiny boys, these little ones, I'll tell you the size of them in a minute. These particular ones are 4 inches by 4 inches, just the right size for a daily commitment to yourself to kickstart your creativity. That's a lot of kickers, isn't it? But it really does work. So I'm going to take you through this particular little sketchbook that I have completed. Excuse me for the coughing. Still clearing my throat a little there from that horrible virus. Anyway, so yeah, I showed you through this one previously. It's had a little cover update since I showed you this one. And that was my previous collage journal, and this is the new one. So without further ado, let's have a little look inside it. So on the front, I've got a piece that I'll be making along with Sue from Susie Q Makes, which were the little 3-inchy pieces using the Sarah Renee Clark colour cubes. Great little resource, and I have enjoyed that thoroughly and will be making more of those as well. So that's gone on the front of there because that button matched that perfectly. So these are the little pink pig sketchbooks that I adore. They've even got a little pink pig inside with pig, just in case you weren't sure. I love them because they're such a nice size. Because they are ring bound, it means I can add in, you can see how thick my pages are, so I can add into it without it compromising the book spine, which is great for me. But yeah, pink pig books. These have got like a mulberry cover on them. They're rather lovely. I'll show you some others in a minute when I have shown you through this particular one. So, not dated at all, but this was a little guardian bird that I drew out in here. Not particularly a collage one. But this is what I've ended up using this book for anyway. I think that was in there already, and then I decided this was going to be my next collage book, basically. So you get an extra added bonus of a little drawing of... It was kind of a little scribble sketch that I then drew into, and then she emerged from that. So not particularly collage, more mixed media, but... that's that one. Then we go into the, obviously there's going to be owls in here, and I think this one was showing how the owl patterns that I do you can actually make into collage pieces as well. So if you're not a sewer or you're not interested in fabric and fabric things, then you could actually do this in paper. And this was painted papers that I had little scraps of, and then I used the pattern to make my little owl. The next one, I go purely into abstract. There are some recognisable shapes in here. I use quite a bit of geometry in my pieces, geometric shapes, etc. These are the kind of staples of the thing that I have as markers in my work. It's kind of like they're nearly always there. So the star is nearly always there. I've usually got dots. Then not just for me, it's basically just what shows up when I go intuitive. So when I create a piece like this, I usually tend to do it. The first thing I do when I sit down at my desk, I look at what kind of scraps I've got hanging around, and generally, believe me, I've got quite a few little scraps of paper hanging around. And usually I've got them in a little pile, but I'll go through what I do in a while. I'll just carry on going through the book because I can get distracted quite easily. This is another little piece here. This is India ink. It's also got some neo colour in there, and painted papers, and a little bit of fabric there as well. And some other collage papers in too. And I think I did this one as one of my collage along pieces. If you have looked into my list of videos, this will be in there probably as one of the ones that I did on camera. This was another collage piece. I did a bear brooch, and then I was showing again how you could use a pattern to make a collage piece if you wanted to. We've got this. I really like this. I think I like it because of the colour, the colourway. This beautiful blue in the background. It's kind of like an Indian throne blue kind of colour. Almost indigo in its way, but it's got more of a warmer aspect to it. But I like this. I find it simple. I find it soothing. Here's another one. You'll usually find circles within my work as well, usually representing moons or suns or something similar. But again, it's just a background, and then random scraps of paper that I intuitively just stick down, and I'll show you what I use in a moment, in case you're interested. We got this. That could have been some kind of a creature if I'd have worked on that a little bit longer. It looks a little bit like a cross between Sonic and a fox. That came from a random scribble. Again, I'm going to show you my process in a minute. This is again just intuitive, just laying down pieces, laying down colour, finding out what pleases me, finding out what I'm enjoying about something. Because it's such a small size, it's just one of those things you don't think about it too much. You just go with what you have. This one is again much more painty, mixed media-y than collage. I do try and keep to collage in this book, but sometimes it's just handy. So I'll just pick up the nearest sketchbook and go with what I have. So the next one, when I started out doing these a long time ago, it was kind of like, I think it was a Leuchtturm sketchbook, a tiny one, a small pocket-sized one, and I was doing all of these kind of patchwork things. And I think this is where my brain, my brain loves this kind of patchworky style, whether I'm doing it in fabric or paper or paint. So it's something that my brain will go to. But we've got like little collage pieces there. This is some that Annie sent me, actually. Annie Claxton from Arty Farty Annie sent me some beautiful papers, and I've used them in this particular collage here. This one ended up as a creature. I like his little tooth hanging down there, but we're back to my stars, we're back to my dots. And this is just a piece of paper that in my mind resembled an animal, and so it became an animal. And it's things like this that can spark off your creativity. So you could take that a little further and then just develop it. But I may still do that with him. Who knows? He may become something. And that's the good thing about putting things down into a book, where you can just grab it out and have a look through. This one, I think I was trying out pencils, but it ended up as a little sketchy piece. So again, not so much collage, but it kind of came together from starting how to see how things colours went together. It became this, but I quite enjoy it. Back to collage again. So we've got a collaged, a coloured background. I believe the background on this is from the what do you call them? The Shuttle Art Tempera paint sticks, these boys here. And I think that's collaged from that. Painted, drawn on with that. Then played around with was a piece of collage that I found on my desk. And this one, I've got a little bit of writing on the bottom that says anchored. So obviously this piece has been anchored down. in my brain. Really simple little square of, I think this was from the envelopes we made. I think it was a little piece left over from the envelope, and I just stuck it down. It had some quick scribble on top of it, and then some leftover paint and some mark making, and I really enjoyed just not thinking too much about it. And that's the point about these. I don't think about them too much. I just go in and do whatever with whatever I have on my desk. Again, not so much collage on there. This could have had collage added into it, but it was more of like a, sometimes you have a little bit of leftover paint, slap it in the book, and then you've got a basic background to work on, and that's what I tend to do. This wasn't mine. This, I believe, was done by someone. Kind of found this hanging around in my little scraps box. And I believe it was done by somebody when I worked at school. I had a craft club, and I think someone there made it. I think I was showing them how to make some Valentine's cards, I think, at the time. But I thought it fitted in here quite nicely, and the colours went nicely, so it went in. These are some pieces from little flower cards that I have made in time, and then these are just some of the extra pieces I've got left over from that. So that's also one of those as well. There's another one. You can see these are stuck onto card and then stuck in. So I've done these as a group and then just kind of stuck them into my little collage book. This again, not so much collage, more of a mixed media piece, but it went nicely in here. And it's another one of those where you don't have to think too much, you just paint. Back onto collage again. There's this piece, which is all these random scraps from my bit box. That's what I call it. I have a little bit box with all bits of old collagey papers that I've used for other things, and they all go in there. And again, it just pleased my brain for that to come about. We're back to owls again. This background card was, I think it was from a piece when I was doing the index cards, the daisy yellow index cards that I did back in, was it July or June? I can't remember. And I had this little egg shape, and I thought, well, that's got to be an owl, hasn't it? And so it became one. But we've got lots of mark making in the background as well, and my usual dots and stuff. So, and this is some, I think it was jelly print paper, but I then just threw some glitter on because I'm like that. I do throw glitter on things. Another piece from the bit box. So we've got scrappy collage papers here and here. We've got a little cutout. This is from when I used to do some cards with flowers on it. It was in the bit box, so it ended up on here. A little bit of my favourite glittery fabric that was hanging around on the table, and that made it into the collage. This one is a little house. I was thinking of birds again, so we've got a little egg shape there. Obviously that was cut out of that piece there. And then we've got little flower collaged on here. The roof of my house is a painty paper that I've made for some other project. But the little pieces never get wasted. They never get wasted. They all get put in the bit box. This one is kind of like this is Angelina, which has been ironed together. Which is a kind of heat fusible fibres. And just look at the shine on that. I love that. And some mulberry paper, some other scraps of collage paper. Sometimes these take minutes to put together. Very rarely do they take any longer than about 10 to 15 minutes. And it's just enough time to sort of kickstart my brain. And that's what I tend to use it for, I think. We've got this collage background, some more of that nice written paper. Looks like a list. Yeah, it's the same from that one. Must have been another scrap of that. Then we've got this piece that I thought looked like a leaf, so that went on there. Now we're into the COVID boys. They always crop up. They're a bit like the owls. They come every once in a while, and they come in like a few at a time. So we've got this little COVID boy here. It's got a heart, obviously from the bit box. Then all these papers are collage, and the raven crow has been painted on top. I always try and leave little gaps so that the colour will show through, and that's kind of representative of the feathers. If you look at feathers of the bird, they look black, but when you look at the actual feather, you can see all these other colours inside, and I kind of think it's all contained within the blackness of the feather. But there he is. Then we got this one. Again, some collage background. Again, we got some iridescent Angelina that's kind of just been stuck down onto his feathers there. And some other pieces from the bit box. This one has got another one of those little flowers. Quite a few of those in my bit box, actually. So I've got a few more that I can still use up, but they kind of fit into the piece. They kind of add a little bit of interest. And this guy is another one of my COVID boys who's hanging around in the book again. And then we got this one. This particular COVID came from a scribble. So sometimes, and I'll show you the process again as I go along, sometimes I just lay down a line or what they call taking a line for a walk, as Paul Clay used to say. Just taking that line for a little walk along your paper, not thinking about it, just laying down a line and then trying to find something within that line. And this was one of the creatures that came out. He's got some bits of collage paper on there as well from the bit box. And we're on to the last one in this book. Well, the next to last. There is one more. This was a phrase from a book that I'm reading, and it kind of stuck in my head. And it was, "She was always running to stand still." It's kind of, everything's moving, but it's all moving in order for you to stay in one place. Yeah, it kind of was, it resonated with me at the time. So constantly moving but staying in the same place, or constantly moving in order to stay in the same place. And I quite like that phrase, so that went into the book. We've got some little bits of stitching going on there. So we've got some stitched bits. We've got some bits that have been cut out and stuck to the back. So we've got some Angelina there. And it's kind of a little bit of a confusion, but I suppose it's where my brain was at the time. But I really did like that phrase, and I wanted to get that down somewhere. And the last thing in my book, apart from this little me testing out pencils, is just a random little piece of painted whatever. I could have been laying down some leftover paint there, but then I've just gone mad with circles. So that's that little book. Now, as I said, these are Pink Pig books, and I kind of like to make them covers. So this one has got a K on it for Cookie, obviously. And I think I've shown through this as a video showing this one. This is the next one. So this is completed and ready to go into my little pile of books that I draw inspiration from. I've got 3 more. When I bought the last one, which was this one, I actually bought another 3 as well, because I know I'm going to be using these a lot. And this one I decorated up. I think there's a picture of this on Instagram. I'm sure there is somewhere, of the little wool felt pieces. These were all scraps on my desk, and they just made it onto the cover. And this one is probably going to be my next one. This one is another one of those 3-inchies or 3-inchies, and that's gone on to the cover. And this is what people say, what can you use your pieces for? Well, they don't have to be used for anything at all. They can just be for the fun of making them. But if you do want to repurpose them or give them a use, they're great things to stick on fronts of journals like this. And I just like holding these. There's something about them, very tactile. Love to hold them. And this one was another piece from the Syringes, and really like this little butterfly. I think somebody sent me some of this fabric with a butterfly on it, and it all seemed to work with a particular colour card that we were working on at the time. But there are all these little pink pig books. So what do I use? Well, as I say, I use bits of scrap paper, and because I'm going to be breaking this one in, let's have a little go at putting together a little collage. So this first page, I've got this beautiful rainbow pencil that my lovely friend Barbara sent me, BB, very kindly sent me a set of these colourful pencils, and I really love these. So what I'll do is I'll hold the pencil fairly close to the end because I don't want to guide it too much, and I just want to let it do its thing. So I'm taking a line for a walk. I'm kind of letting it do whatever it wants to. And that's enough. That's great. So the next thing I will do with this is to maybe add some colour in. So I'm going to grab my watercolours out, and we're just going to add in some little background bits. So I've got my jar of water. These are not actually watercolour, they're gouache, and this is kind of my little gouache tin that I go to. I don't tend to spray it up, I just go in with some water. And then kind of just fill in some areas. Not really thinking too much about it, just having fun really. Grabbing up some colours to play with. So gouache is kind of different to watercolour in the way that it's much more of a opaque colour. Watercolour itself is quite transparent in most cases. So it looks like my brain is going towards the greeny blues for today. The greeny yellowy blues, and that's where we're going to go. Just adding in some colour. And you don't have to fill the whole thing. It's not the intention. Really like this powdery blue colour. I think it's a Winsor & Newton gouache that I've had for many years. There's something about it that I quite like. That's going down there. And I think got some bluey black up here. Oh yeah, like that. Oh yes. Isn't it funny how some colours you just, oh yes, I love that. And you just gravitate towards them. That's one of those for me. Very lovely. You can let them all meld into each other. You can just have fun with it. So this, I just need to let it dry off a little bit. I could hair dryer it just to make it go quicker, but I just want to let it to lie flat. So I'm going to let that lie just for a few minutes, and then we'll go on to my next bits. While that's drying off, let's have a little look in the bit box. And I wasn't lying. This is a bit box. It's a little box of all kinds of treasure. So I'm just going to pop that over there for a minute. Let's have a little look in the bit box. Put my pencil away. Trying to be tidy in the new year. I don't know how long that's going to last. Let's get the lid open. Oh my gosh, everything's falling out already. This is the bit box. So we've got all kinds of jazz in here. We've got little stars, we've got bits of Angelina, we've got pieces of... This is my decorated, aluminium decorated card. If you're interested in making that, I can show you how I put that together. Bits of holographic paper, bits of painted cardy paper. We have a whole ton. There's those little flowers I was telling you about, all in the bit box. I've got quite a few of those. I'm going to take that out because that kind of fits with my idea. What else have I got in here that's of any interest? A lot of the time I will have card hanging around. Oh, hello, I like you. Not for now, but I do like you. From other projects. So it's kind of just sitting on my desk. But when it's not sitting on my desk and I have a tidy up, then we have this bit box. So we've got a piece of mulberry paper there that fits in with my theme. Quite like that. Let's have a bit of that. And we've got some of this Angelina. It's pre-ironed Angelina. This has obviously been cut off a bigger piece. And along with my bit box, so when I've been through here and kind of picked out bits that I like from here, and then I've got my portable piece of collection images. Let's take that one out as well. Hoping that bit box doesn't fall over. I have this. Now this is my folder, she said, throwing everything all over the floor. And in here, these are things that when I'm going away, I'll take these little envelopes with me, and they've got small pieces of... This has got felt in it, and these two have got paper in. So this is my take away with me kit. And I'll replenish it occasionally and add in new pieces. That's a painted paper. I might use a bit of that, so let's grab some of that out. Packaging papers, I love these tissue papers. I tend to save because they're great for collage, and this has got stars all over it, so we'll have some of that. So just save bits of packaging. Be a womble. Save things. Save all the things. Got a piece of painted paper there that fits in with my plan. I think we've got plenty there to be going on with. So this is going to be my next stage. I'm grabbing my piece of painted background. So now I'm going to try out different things. It kind of fits in there quite nicely. So rip it down a little bit further. Kind of like that. And a kind of like that. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just grabbing pieces. Even when I'm picking things out of my boxes or whatever, I try to be a little bit intuitive about it. And kind of like that. Kind of take that down there a bit. You can make these into little landscapes if you wanted to. Now, where's that little flower? I want to add that in as well. So looking to balance out. That looks like a leaf now. Okay, so I'm liking that as a starter collage. Things I glue stuff down with. Well, I've got a small Mod Podge here. It's hanging around on my desk. It's a matte one, so it's not shiny, so it won't reflect or change the colours underneath. I have got Pritt Stick. Pritt Stick is also good for this. Simple. I'll probably change this now. I've moved everything off. If you want to remember how it goes, then take a picture of it. But I'm not too worried. I'm just going to just lie things down onto this. Adding those stars in. I don't mind that it's overhanging a bit because I can trim that down if I need to. And so you can see this evolves as you make, as you create. You can just have a look and see if it pleases you. If it pleases you, it can stay. We have that bit of Angelina going down there. So I'm just going to lay some glue down, because if I try and glue the Angelina, it will just fall apart. Now with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of this on it. That might have been a bit too much. When that dries, it will dry clear. So that's just going to help hold that down onto my piece. Put a bit more underneath there. Look, see? Sometimes it just falls away, and that's all good as well. Just going to leave that to do what it will now. Wipe my fingers. Doesn't get too messy, but it can get messy. A little leaf. He fitted there, didn't he? Get that one in. In my mind, that's now a leaf. This back bit looks a bit like a penguin as well. It's not going to be a penguin, but could be. And that way around. Just going to connect those two bits there. And add in this little flower. I think it may have changed position now, so it's going to sit there. So my flower is going to sit there. When you were a child and you made something and you created something, you didn't ask yourself if it was the right colour. You just kind of thought, I like that one, that's going on, I like that. And you were very proud of it when you'd finished. And we lose that somehow. We kind of become very judgmental of what we put down. And I'm asking you to kind of break away from that. Don't be judgmental. It's not going to be entered into an art competition. You don't have to show anybody if you don't want to. This is just for you to play. And if you feel proud of it and you want to share it, absolutely do it. Or if you just want to keep it to yourself, absolutely just do it. It's all good. Okay, so I'm going to continue to let that Angelina dry. That's going to take a while because it's got Mod Podge on it, so it just takes a bit longer to dry off. But I'm going to bring in some other mark making stuff now. So I've got these tempera paints. I know that things will go over the top of these as well. So if I lay these down, that will work. And I've got this beautiful turquoisey green colour. So I'm just going to add in some of this into the mix. It will smudge slightly a little bit, but once it's set, it's set. So I'm just going to add some of this in, some mark making. I have got, oops, turn that around the other way. I've got this blue as well. This is from the pastel tempera stick set, which I quite like. Add some of that in there. And now this could be anything. It could be a magical landscape, however your mind goes. Add a bit more of that in there. And then I'm going to my paint pens. What have I got here that I can use as a mark making tool? Ooh, I don't want liquid chrome. I have got these chrome markers, which I'm loving at the minute. So I'm just going to add a little bit of detail in with these. You can see how bright and shiny they are. They're lovely. But you use what you've got. I like bright and shiny. That might not be you. You might like other things. So use what you have, what you enjoy to use. I've got some of these Faber-Castell Pit Artist pens, which have got India ink in them. And this has got some, I like to add in some little lines and mark making here as well. Kind of balance it out in that corner there. Enjoying that. And I've got this little pen here to add some darker elements in. And obviously I'm going to draw in my stars. Tiny little weeny stars. That's going to be a black star. Okay. I'm going to give that one a spiral. And because I don't like twos, I'm going to add another one in there. So we've got 3 little black stars there done in different ways. I'm quite happy with that. When that dries up, that's going to look really shiny and bright as well. So that's my little first collage for this book. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing one of these a day. If you're interested, I could actually do little sessions like this occasionally throughout the months. So let me know if you are interested in collage stuff, and I will happily do other things. I do lots of things collage variety wise, so hit me up down in the comments below. Also, what do you do to kickstart your creativity? Have you got any tips and hints for people who are just getting started and want to kind of just jump in somewhere? If you've got a specific thing that you like to do to kickstart yourself, can you pop it down in the comments below, because people will love to read through those and it will probably be quite inspiring for them as well. Anyway, that's enough from me for today. I'm going to wait for this to dry and then I can crack on with some other things that I've got going on that I'll be showing you very, very soon here on the Kooky Corner of YouTube. Bye for now.